Are you in that impossible situation at the moment where you want to make a difference, you want to start changing your life, you're feeling really stuck though, and everything you think about seems overwhelming and change seems impossibly intimidating to move through and towards? How can we get to a better place where we want to embrace change, we want to take on and get to the life that we want to do? My name is Ben Netterfield, I'm a leadership coach and I work with people with anxiety and trauma. And in this video, we're going to look at ways that you can learn to have a more flexible and open mindset to get the change you want to do and to move away from the things and limiting the life that you want to have. So the question often arises, why can't I make the change when I'm actually feeling really stuck in the position I am? The brain is really good at doing a number of things, and one of those things is to make sure we can even out the lifestyle that we're having. Even though I don't like the thing that's happening to me at the moment, I've already paid this cost, I'm already used to this cost. So our brain wants to keep the peace and to keep us on a steady ship, and in that way it feels that change is going to be still intimidating and factors in too many unknown things. So the brain keeps putting a little handbrakes on the things that we want to do, the things that we want to work towards. So the first thing we've got to do is to actually acknowledge that change is always going to be inevitable. Just to be here in this moment, change, an immense amount of change has had to have happened. If you just think of the times in history where you look back in the calmness of reading on the page, but the change that was happening at the time that was immense, the Black Death in Europe, World War I, World War II, people going through immense change, and yet reading it in the history books now doesn't seem like it would have been that difficult. It's just an event in time. Those emotions would have been happening to those people at that stage. Sometimes change is pushed upon us, and sometimes we're trying to choose change to make us improve or allow us to improve and better ourselves. So where possible, let's make the choice that is our change. Let's make it on our terms. So we're choosing to change and choosing to make a better life before sometimes change is pushed upon us. So how do we go about that? It's really easy to say and much harder to do, but the first step is embracing imperfections. In other words, nothing about change is going to be perfect. Nothing about our plan is going to be perfect. But we want to embrace that moment and think of the overall big picture that we're moving towards this thing and away from this thing over here. And that's the first thing to acknowledge. That pathway will never be smooth and easy. But if we acknowledge the fact that we want to go over to here and we're going to pick up things and learn things along that way, then that will make our change much easier. So the first thing is to embrace those imperfections, to embrace the journey of change, to think of it as a growth and learning stage rather than just a destination. And it mightn't be the destination we end up with, but is the destination that we're first aiming to strike towards. So the second thing is to embrace the challenges and to make sure that we think of the challenges on an intellectual level rather than an emotional level. Sometimes we get bogged down in the emotions of change rather than solving the problem of change. So simply thinking of the emotion of changing locations. The physical things that are required in that are obviously making sure that we've got our belongings, making sure that we know where we're going, making sure that we're securing everything and planning it all out. We have our date of departure, we have our date of arrival, all the utilities that go with that. They're all our intellectual challenges that we've got to address and think of the problems that go with that. However, the emotional problems of we may be leaving loved ones, we may be leaving behind work colleagues that we actually treasured, we may be leaving our safe, stable environment in that way, and we're going forward into a different environment, and maybe we've chosen that for the reason of growth, for the reason of opportunity, and we want to embrace that, the feeling of, and reframe that. So every time we feel that nervousness, but we make sure we reframe it into, this is the opportunity I've wanted, this is the opportunity I want to do it. Yes, this will be difficult. However, I'm actively choosing this. That won't stop the emotions from popping up, but every time we can reframe them and we can understand them as an emotion, not a difficulty, we can understand them, they are trying to be our safety handbrake rather than they're actually an obstacle in our way. In that way, we want to have a sense of purpose. And that way, studies have shown that people with a much bigger sense of purpose have a much healthier mindset and have a much easier time of making those changes that we want to do. So this is also a time to get in touch with our grit and our determination and our resilience in this time of change. Understanding these times will definitely be difficult, they will definitely be challenging, but those challenges can be overcome, those challenges can be met. If we have a sense of grit about us, we have a sense of we don't have a choice in the matter, we want to get this done, we want to make this change. When we have that mindset of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Let's just do it. And that's often a great way of thinking of it when we have those doubts, that we want to just have that one choice, that one determination, that one sense of grit and purpose that we want to move towards. So then we can think of those times when we're doubting, when we're feeling fatigued, that we literally have our 5 rule, which is instead of wallowing, instead of staying stuck in a moment, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get on, do the next task. Choose something that you want to do next, make it that you can relate to it, that it's going to set you forward, that it is a task that will bring you a better day. And often during those times, if we use that terminology of not yet, I haven't got this yet, however, the purpose I'm looking for, the direction I'm moving forward is in this direction. I'm doing all the right steps, I'm just not there yet. If we keep reframing our thoughts in that way, yes, I might have had a hard day, but my overall thing is I'm not there yet, but this is the thing I'm working towards. The big picture against the small micro setbacks that we might have along the way is a really important thing to have. And that all adds into our grit and resilience portfolio that we can determinedly keep working and keep moving towards and keep setting aside our emotions to the objective we want to have. The other big thing to remember during this time frame is to remember and be aware of the iceberg effect. In other words, when we're saying yes to something, when we're trying to plan something, that the iceberg effect is we say yes, but we don't realize how much time it's going to take. So the yes can be a really simple thing where we think it's going to only take a day or 2 days, and often most studies have shown us that it takes much longer than that, if not a third, if not half again. So when you have a yes moment and you think, yes, I'm going to move towards this thing, and that's going to be simple and I just have to tough it out for that period of time, we often don't take all the little things into account that will actually hold us back on the time. The sense of to get settled in, the sense to find a new sense of bearings. All those things take a little bit longer than we expect. To be able to understand our new work program sometimes, to be able to understand and get up to speed with things that we're wanting to hopefully learn and know. Those sense of changes often have a big yes factor, but they then have a much bigger factor under the water, which is to actually really feel comfortable with something. Things will often take a little bit longer than you expect to get used to. It'll actually put you in a much better reframed mindset to actually say, yes, I'm not there yet, however, I'm much more forward from where I was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, sometimes even 3 days ago. It just allows you to have a much more calmer mindset and a much more forgiving mindset, that everything doesn't have to feel settled or completely finished just yet. So the last thing I want to leave you with, and the most important thing, is to always keep remembering, why am I doing this in the first place? Why have I chosen to do this? Sometimes we actually need that to have it on our door as we get up in the morning. Sometimes we need a little banner as we leave the house in the morning or in our workspace. Why am I doing this? Why have I made this change? Why have I made this decision? And we keep moving towards that because the overall thing that we want in our life, the overall thing that we're trying to grasp towards, even though this moment is scary, the why makes it important for us to want to change. Change is always going to be scary. Change is always going to be intimidating. Even sometimes when we're excited about it, it's still going to be little flutters of butterflies. However, if the why is big enough, the why has purpose, then we'll keep striving towards that why, even when things are feeling a little intimidating. So remember your why. Keep embracing that why. Keep moving towards it. Have that big picture, and then set your tasks for the next thing. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and step forward into your day and really do the best you possibly can, because that's all you can do. I hope this helps you have a little bit more of an open mindset, hopefully have a little bit more of a flexible mindset, and a little kinder to yourself when you're feeling scared about change but still wanting to embrace it anyway. If this video helps, please like and subscribe, and if you have a friend that's struggling with these sort of things, please share it with them. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll also leave a link in the description below about a video which is aimed at pause when we're having those overwhelming thoughts and we're feeling a little battered by life, that you can just take that pause when the emotions are swelling up, take a breath, and then work forward to the purpose that you want to do. So I'll leave that link in the description below. For now, take care, all the best. I hope to see you on the next one, and do the best you can, and remember to be kind to yourself.